So today's Cardinal lesson, we're talking about long-term care claims, and we're talking about the payment of long-term care claims, but a lot more than that. And so long-term care is a bit like life insurance, is you don't file your own claims on your own policies. Obviously, with life insurance, you're deceased. Long-term care, typically the person receiving the care is not dealing with the insurance company. So it's the adult children or the spouse or a combination of the two. Somebody has to get the claim filed. And historically, that's created some difficulty, some angst within the claims department and with the consumers, and getting forms and documents back and forth and actually making a decision on the claim and getting amounts paid to the consumer. So we have a couple of mutual insurance companies that we do a lot of business with who have gotten out ahead of this. And there's certainly more of the companies that we represent in long-term care insurance have these types of services, but these are two, and they're One America and Nationwide, have gotten out ahead of this problem, and they've created a claims concierge. So they're going to have a one point of contact for you, the consumer, or your adult children, or whoever's dealing with the claim and dealing with the care and actually providing some of the care. They're going to have one person in this insurance company that is going to be their coordinator, and they'll actually deal with us as the agents on this kind of stuff. And they're getting out ahead of it to make this process the best that it can possibly be. And that's why we sell long-term care insurance. And that's why people buy it, so that we can at least take the money out of the set of the problems. We don't make the problem go away. This is a very difficult time for people when they're actually needing somebody to come into their home and help them with the activities of daily living, or they need to leave the home and go to an assisted living facility or adult daycare during the day. And that all needs to be set up. And it's just a difficult time for everybody involved. And so if you add the stress of dealing with insurance companies, which you kind of have to do if you have long-term care insurance, and home health care agencies, it's created this one point of contact. So what does the claims concierge do? I mean, they do a couple of things, or three things. They do care coordination, which is really setting up the people that are going to come into your house and take care of you, give you a bath, help you get dressed, make meals for you, do home cleaning, home chores, helping you run errands, maybe running them for you, taking you to the doctor. I mean, finding those people and coordinating all of that, or finding the agency, that's care coordination. Caregiver support is for you, where actually, if you're the customer of this, it's not necessarily for you, it's for your adult children or your spouse, the people that are, because caregivers, even though you have insurance, they're providing care. I mean, your spouse lives with you, and he or she is doing things to care for you. So you're a caregiver, and just even doing this whole claims process and setting up home health care agencies, you need support, you need help yourself. This claims concierge will set up that as well. And then claim coordination is, by definition, their places to be the quarterback, to deal with the claims department, to deal with the billing department, to deal with you, to deal with the Care Scout company that they're going to hire. So there's really three functions that this claim concierge does on behalf of the insurance company, and then dealing with people on behalf of you. So then the Care Scout is a company that One America hires to set up care. Okay, and so we're going to go over that in a second. And then the concierge is also going to give you best in class service in terms of finding a facility. And you're assigned a care specialist within the company who is the quarterback of paying the claim. I mean, I just want to bring Tom on, and I want to show a brochure that supports all of these points, and have a little discussion with Tom. So I think we want to go back to this three things that the claims concierge does.
Sure. And so we have the show notes in the link in the description of the video below, and they're also on our website. But this will provide a little more in-depth detail of what these different services are. And so I'm going to bring it up here. Again, the first page of the show notes is always the board. People like taking notes on that. But if we scroll down to the different, we're going to go down to the One America Care Concierge. But we have brochures that really talk about these three services, the claims coordination, the care coordination, and then the other one, because that is really what they're providing. I mean, historically, what who's been in that role has been the family members who are one having to deal with trying to find someone to care for their loved ones at the same time as trying to figure out how to pay for it, how to work with these insurance companies. And so what One America has done is they have a dedicated person at One America whose job is to coordinate through all the different processes, because there's a lot of moving parts when it goes through filing a claim on a long-term care policy. And some people have had some difficulties with that, and so they have tried to resolve that a little bit with having someone assigned to you who knows the specifics about your case. You don't get someone different every time you call into them to ask a question, and they can help the process run a little more smoothly. And so that's who that concierge, that dedicated person inside of One America is. Um, Earlier in the show notes, we have this Care Scout brochure, and this is who's providing that care, the care coordination. So going and finding the home healthcare agency, finding an assisted living for your loved one to be in. I mean, they are going through and making sure that your either spouse or your parents or whoever it is that's needing care is getting the care they need from someone that's doing a good job. So they're the ones going out trying to find the actual care, which a lot of times can be really hard on the family who's just dealing with the stress and the anxiety of even having their loved one go through this in the first place, and to have to be in charge of then finding the care is really difficult.
This Care Scout company is not One America. They're a third party contractor of One America, and they're who they're currently using. And One America is actually going to pay for this service. So you're not going to have to pay Care Scout money. They're going to find a suitable care situation for you, whether that's home health care or an assisted living or uh, doing care assessments. So they're going to use Care Scout currently. That could change in the future. But you don't have to buy a One America policy to use Care Scout. If somebody's watching this video that maybe their parents don't even have long-term care insurance, maybe they're just in the situation where they're paying for it themselves, Care Scout is a firm that you can hire, and they know people all over the country. They have relationships all over the country to help you get your parent cared for. So this is a great service, and this is what we're really talking about. This is care coordination.
Yeah, and then I think the other one that's on that board is claim coordination. And so and that's going to go back down to the nationwide has the same type of process. Is the process to file a claim for long-term care can be a little bit daunting when you get the form. It's this long form. You have to answer these questions, have a doctor sign off on stuff. And a lot of times people who do that, they fill out the form, they're taking care of their, loved ones, and they fill out the form, they send it in, and the insurance company doesn't get everything they need. And so they come back with questions. And so what this claims coordination can be is they can be that point of contact to help resolve those questions that the company needs to get answered before they can approve the claim. But a lot of times there's miscommunication, or in the past there has been miscommunication between the insurance company, the doctors who need to sign off on things, or the licensed healthcare professional that needs to sign off, and the family. And so what that claims coordination does is help, be that point of contact, be that person to communicate with all parties involved of what's needed to get these benefits paid for your loved ones. And so that, again, that can be a source of frustration at sometimes with people, but these companies have really done this. They've provided this person that's assigned to your case to really help with those, getting all those questions answered that they need.
Yeah. So what does a concierge mean in the insurance business and in the long-term care business? It is just like a concierge at a hotel. It's the person who deals with you professionally, nicely, respectfully, and they're a point of contact. So you can email them, you can call them, we can call them, you can call them, and then they are going to deal with the claims people. I mean, claims departments of insurance companies are not really very good at answering the phone. I mean, when you try to get transferred in there, even we do, we're going to get a voicemail or something, and they'd really rather you email them when you need to talk to them. I mean, that's true throughout the insurance industry. And this concierge person, they will answer their phone, they will answer their emails, and we're going to have them call them if they need to talk to them, or them get them on the phone if we need to talk to them. So it's the best in class service that kind of lets you go to the front of the line and get out of the work process in the whole thing. So, and if you're still on the fence about long-term care, there's a whole lot of people that come to us. We're talking to, we're selling them Medicare supplements or financial plans, and this is long-term care discussion is always part of our financial plans. And we find that people before they met us, they're still on the fence, and they're kind of leaning on the side of the fence is, I'm not buying that. Okay, I mean or they're going to call themselves on the fence. And usually, out of respect, they listen to us. And then some of those come over and they buy a policy. What I'm going to just tell you, if you're on the fence, you don't really buy long-term care insurance for yourself. Okay. Because, and especially if you have resources and you have money, you're going to get the care you need. Okay. You buy this for your family, and you buy it for these kinds of services so that when your family's hit with a crisis, that they've got somebody to call, they've got somebody to go to. I had a gentleman that I've been speaking with that he has more than enough money really to go buy a nursing home or to buy an assisted living that he could stay in, or just pay for home health care. And he's been using that as, I'm on the fence, I'll just pay for it myself. And when I started talking to him more about just these kinds of services that his wife is going to need, if he needs care, she's going to need support in finding care for him. She's going to need support herself. Really around those caregiver services, she's going to need just somebody to lead her. And then when it comes to spending their own money, I asked her, where's she going to go for the money? Does she understand all your investments and the cash flows and your investment people? And boy, once I started talking about that and really showing him this service, he's ready to get into a more serious discussion about buying long-term care. So as we do on all of our videos when we're finishing here, really the only subject that we've talked about today is long-term care and home health care. We haven't really covered IRAs or income or estate planning, maybe a little bit of estate planning. We're really talking about after people buy long-term care insurance, or when they're in the situation that they need long-term care services, how do they set them up? How do they facilitate it? How do they get the insurance company to pay? And with that, I'm Hans Scheil, and I thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.